Good evening, and welcome once again to another edition of Matthew Hopkins News. I am your host, the Witchfinder General. The title of this episode is Enemies Within. It is about paedophile internet trolls trying to infiltrate the right, including Gab, in order to spread dissent and make the alt-right look like the racist caricature the left like to portray. Ordinarily, my videos are about the worst kind of extreme leftists and social justice warriors. This year the topic is closer to home. Let me introduce you to Gab.ai user Moon. Who is he? Well, Joshua Connor Moon lives in Pensacola, Florida, and he is the owner of the web board Kiwifarms. Kiwifarms is a third-party trolling group that first featured on my blog earlier this year when they temporarily posed as members of Gamergate and started a conversation about murdering Anita Sarkeesian. The main purpose of the board is to stalk the disabled, and in particular an autistic man called Christian Weston Chandler. However, they also stalk non-disabled people such as journalists like myself who criticise them. Encyclopedia Dramatica has an extensive article in which they accuse Moon of being a paedophile addicted to Neko Shota, which is cartoon child pornography featuring males. They claim that he threatened to genitally mutilate, dismember, anally rape, and murder an underage female member of the forum for an online Lego game called Blockland. They claim he boasted of liking hurtcore. Moon denies being a paedophile and insists he is innocent. However, I have been able to source archives to verify every single one of the allegations except the allegation about hurtcore. In terms of that final matter, I can prove that Moon has knowingly and willingly hosted child rape stories. Until earlier this year, Moon was the owner of 16chan, a board set up to rival 8chan, the well-known image board. Here are the rules. At first glance, the 16chan rules may seem reasonable. Don't post child pornography. No one has a problem with that. But then it gets a little strange. Apparently, paedophile stories are okay, as are drawings, because those are within United States law. Paedophilia discussion and boards were explicitly allowed by Joshua Moon, not unlike the way they are on Reddit. The only rule was that they had to be contained in their own boards, not derailing conversations in, for example, the zoophilia board. Wouldn't want those paedophiles upsetting the bestiality fans, now would we? Now, I'm not going to display it all here, because it's too horrific even for Matthew Hopkins News to republish. But one board, File, was a text board expressly for paedophiles. I will display the logo of that board. There was a story there about a 5-year-old boy being abducted. The abductor rapes the child, but unfortunately the regular orifices were not good enough for this perpetrator. Instead, in the story, the abductor cuts a hole in the child and rapes them to death through the wound. This material was hosted by Joshua Connor Moon and expressly within the site rules he had set. Moon created 16chan as a rival to 8chan because he was infamously fired from there for failing to upgrade their software. Whilst Moon was at 8chan, it was frequently alleged that there was a child pornography problem. The site was removed from Google listings at one point. However, after Moon was fired, Hot Wheels and the new owner cleaned it up, whilst all the paedophilia mysteriously followed Moon to 16chan. Worse, Kiwifarms expressly targets real children. This is a vote called by prominent Kiwifarms member Dynastia, who is friends with Josh. They vote in favour of targeting children. Just to be clear that that's not a joke, here is their thread on prominent Blockbot admin Marian Arnerud. Now, I don't like Arnerud, but I would never go so far as to stalk her 5-year-old child as the Kiwi farmers do. They harvested an archive of photos and they link it in the thread. Whilst these are legal, if stolen, family photos, I'll not click on them to avoid invading the child's privacy. Remember, this child, this 5-year-old child, is exactly the same age as the fictional one abducted, mutilated and raped to death through a wound in the paedophile story hosted by Josh on his other site, 16chan. Whilst Josh has claimed repeatedly to be an alt-right Trump supporter, he actually has threads on his forum for stalking Milo Yiannopoulos, Vox Day. He even has threads for more moderate right-wingers like myself. His main beef with me, of course, is the amount of damage my work has done to his forum. Moon literally does every single thing the alt-right is accused of to try to make them look bad. Here he is, shortly before his latest Twitter ban. As you can see, he's calling for genocide. He also contacted Jews to threaten to cut off their fingers. Bizarrely, in this post, Moon is not even using a sock, a burner or a proxy. This is his own official Twitter account, or at least it was until it was suspended. Once again, I'll return to the thread about Josh Moon's email service. The sole use case appears to be harassing women, mostly left-wing feminists. Here he is on Gab, calling for violence, which I highlight as contrary to Gab terms of use. When Joshua Connor Moon speaks of hanging Googles and Skypes, that is well-known code for African Americans and Jews. Because I and others have spread his identity and made law enforcement aware, Josh now experiences regular complaints, contact from victims and police visits. There have been numerous terror threats from the email service Josh operates, and whilst Josh insists it's nothing to do with him, the fact is that this sort of behaviour is encouraged on his forum. This year, Josh's site has been banned by Linode, banned by Edis, banned by Gandhi.net, moved on from VersaWeb, DigitalOcean, and finally ended up at Frantech. Gandhi.net expressly stated that after complaints, they found paedophile material illegal under French law. The English High Court in London made a permanent restraining order against Dynastia and awarded £10,000 in damages against him, even though we do not know his real-life identity. If anyone has his real-life identity, I've offered to share half of any money I recover of the damages, after the costs, as a bounty. Full terms are on my blog. Kiwifarms has been banned from PayPal. Their group disappeared from Steam. They have been banned from Google Ads. They have been removed from their registrar on their MS domain. Now, Joshua Connor Moon is on Gab.ai, and I'm not comfortable with that. Gab.ai is an exceptional achievement and the first real threat to the established biased left-wing social media. Moon is a paedophile internet troll whose presence cannot be tolerated if we are to be taken seriously. If you're a member of Gab and you agree, please draw this video to the attention of management. Even so, I would encourage people not to harass Josh and to be polite in any contact with him. Recent events have shown the left-wing hegemonic control of our society has begun to crumble. Anything that threatens our gathering momentum must be swept away. We cannot afford to tolerate monsters like Moon. You know what to do. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and follow MHN on Gab.